Dr. Kristal McGreggor at Jamaica now, living in the United States, is zooming in this morning to share how overcoming hurtful words from a teacher helped shape her journey from self-doubt to leadership. She's in Tennessee in the United States of America. She joins us now. Good morning, Dr. McGreggor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to have you. Thanks for being here.
No problem.
You know, I always talk about the power of a teacher to make or break a child. There's a teacher you looked up to and respected while you were here in Jamaica, this is before you left to go overseas, who essentially told you that you would never amount to anything. It's something that has been a pivot. I see you actually viscerally still react to the statement. You took a deep sigh a while ago, which means it's something that you still think about and something that still really affects you, although you've gone beyond it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happened?
I think, go ahead.
Hearing me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, take us back to that day.
Yeah, so I was in the 10th grade, and I wasn't the best student in class. I gave a lot of trouble. And I think that particular day I was just, having a little session in the back with my friends. And I remember she just yelled from the class, like she was frustrated. And she just yelled, like she tell everybody to go to their seats. And then she yelled at me and she said, Kristal, you will never graduate from high school. You will never become anything. And in that moment, I had to make a quick decision. I could have either like shut down and just kind of let my friends like see me cry, or I played it out and acted like it didn't hurt. But deep down, those words really hurt to the core. And I remember just like going home. I didn't even tell my parents because, I was given a lot of trouble in school, but I still didn't feel like it warranted for the teacher to say that. Mm-hmm. And so it lived with me for a very long time, like even until I became an adult and just growing up and navigating life. Those words like haunted me for so many years, and seeing my life through those lenses. It kind of paralyzed me in different areas where I questioned my purpose, right? I constantly felt like I wasn't good enough or that I was a fraud because she said I would never graduate high school. And when I actually graduated high school, I felt like it was a mistake. And, maybe somebody's going to come back and take away that diploma. But every time I moved on to something different, I started to question myself, like, am I supposed to be here? Is this a fluke? Is this real? And so that lived with me for a very long time until I think around 2018, I was in this mentorship program led by Kira Sheard Kelly, and we were having a conversation around fear and doubt. And I remember just sharing my story with her. And she said to me, but Kristal, like, if your teacher told you that you're never going to graduate high school, you're never going to become anything in life, then how do you explain the fact that in a few months you're about to defend your dissertation? And that question literally stopped me in my tracks. And I think that's when I started to think about, okay, how do I start doing the work to make sure I'm not living life through these words that was said to me many years ago?
Yeah, also important in the story you just shared with us, Dr. Mack, is that, students peak at different times in their lives. Students develop, students change, students evolve, but with the right kind of support and the right kind of guidance and the right kind of mentorship. I hear you saying you were a troublemaker in school. I used to give problems, and I tell people all the time, I wasn't the best student in high school, but I went on and graduated university with honors, right? So we can't expect the same behavior from the same child, and so teachers have to learn how to encourage different children differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you go to foreign now, you leave here, you were doing sports when you left Jamaica, but you walked away from sports when you went there, looked to get a job in retail, and then one day somebody was like, this is not for you, girl. Go back to your sports, and you went to Bronx Community College, and tell me about the rest from there. Let's see if we can get the abridged version.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came up, and I think because of those words, like, remember I said, like, I felt like I was a fake, like I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to be in those spaces. And so education was off the board because I refused to let anyone find out that I wasn't going to, be successful or anything of that sense. And so I figured I'll just get a job, I'll work, and I'll just work my way up. And I started working in retail. And that was the plan. Like I had a plan to just work in retail. And if you know anything about Sears, it doesn't exist now. And so that plan wouldn't have worked. And I had a manager who kind of encouraged me to go back. And she said, Kristal, like, go back to school. And so I decided to go to Bronx Community College. And when I went to Bronx Community College, I had missed sports. I had missed being a part of the track team. And I remember just walking out to the coach and just trying to get on the team. And I did. And that was the first time he even mentioned, like, oh, you could get a scholarship. And I'm like, what is a scholarship? Like, I had no idea what was a scholarship, the different divisions in NCAA. I had no idea what was an HBCU versus a PWI. And he kind of educated me on those different things. And I ended up, he told me, he said, if you do good in school, you do what you're supposed to do on the track, you could get a scholarship. And, Hampton came through and I got a full ride to Hampton University, went there. I worked on my bachelor's degree in marketing. And from there, I returned a few years later and I served as an assistant coach and director of recruiting and operations there at Hampton University, and also worked on my master's during that time. And while at Hampton, I had a professor who was still pushing this education thing, right? Going back to school. And I was like, listen, the master's is enough. I don't have any more school in me. Like, I just don't have it. And he told me, he's like, listen, you are good enough to get a PhD and you're going to bring something unique to this space. And I remember just having a conversation with them at the University of Michigan. And it's like, what is like, first of all, where is Michigan? Like, I had no idea where Michigan was. But I knew once I found out that they were going to fund it, I think the rest was like, okay, let me just pack my bag up and go where I need to go and make this work. And so I worked on my PhD in sport management at the University of Michigan.
Fantastic. Now I see NCAA on your shirt. You're affiliated? Yes,
I do. I've been blessed enough to complete many of the leadership development programs through the NCAA, just to develop as a professional, but also to be a part of their programs that allow me the opportunity to serve as a facilitator on different programs that they have for student athletes.
And for those who don't know, the NCAA is a National Collegiate
Athletic
Association. And then your work too through the Dr. Charles Whitcomb Leadership Institute, which you say saved your life.
It did. It absolutely did. So it's a 2-year program for professionals in college athletics to kind of help them to grow through, as a person and leadership opportunities. And so for me, when I said that, like, when I got admitted, I want to say in 2024. And during that time, I was in a very dark place in my life. I felt like on the outside, I had achieved a lot professionally. But under that, like, I had a lot of wounds, a lot of fears and insecurity that I didn't fully address, because I felt like for years, I kind of pushed those to the side and I tried to, like, put this face on like everything was okay. But honestly, if I'm being fully transparent, like, I was depressed during that time, right? I was anxious, and even there were moments of having suicidal thoughts. And so when LI came into place, it was one of those moments where it impacted my life. And it helped me to just start thinking about, how do I move through this world? How do I really be still and pause and identify, sit with the difficult questions and examine my beliefs and examine the things that I'm carrying. And when I meshed that with every man, that was the game changer for me. It completely changed my life.
Game changer. Yes. Every time I hear somebody say it, I underscore it. Therapy changes and saves lives. I advocate for it strongly. I don't care if he's a big, tough, grayback man, or it don't matter who you are. It helps you. We have to go, but I want to ask you one more question. Have you seen or spoken to that teacher since?
I haven't. I've been back to Andrews before.
What would you say to her today if she's watching?
Man, I forgive you. I definitely forgive you. And your words hurt then, but it also helped me to become a better person.
That's right. That's right. We are so proud of you. Thank you for the time you took to stop in with us today. Doc. Oh, wow. I love that for you. I love that for you. No more degrees to get, I don't think, after PhD. But I'm sure there's another one invented. That's where you're going. Thank you very much. Associate Director of Athletics for Student Athlete Success and Strategic Initiatives at the Austin Peay State University, Dr. Kristal McGreggor. You see, you can't tell a Jamaican it cannot be Duke. I'm going to show you why you're wrong. That's it for our Diaspora Check-In. Next, we are talking fiscal strength under pressure. That's on the other side of this break.